my name is Kryation, and today I thought I would do something a bit different. So I gathered a community wish list of the top 5 things we want to see in the last DLC for Battlefield 4, Final Stand. Now, I cannot guarantee that all these things may make it in there, but we can all board the hype train even though Dragon's Teeth just came out 2 weeks ago. Best DLC for Battlefield 4, by the way. But I didn't include anything on this list that I felt was too obscure for the Battlefield franchise. So no dino with lasers, no fight on the moon, no fight in space in general. I pretty much had to filter the internet. So starting off in number 1 in no particular order, Nuclear Revolution. Now this has been a rumor ever since around the time of the Naval Strike DLC, where we found a certain number, to be more specific, Project 273, which relates to a nuclear silo. Now, ever since then, everyone has really been kind of questioning, was this related to the Phantom assignment, or was it related to the in-stock game, or somehow both? Either way, if a nuke were to somehow make it into the Final Stand DLC, I think it would be a great contribution, changing up the map and allowing us to see what Revolution is all about. Because right now, I have only seen one map that shows any sort of perspective of what DICE was going at with Revolution. Because as of right now, Revolution is kind of a silly gimmick. So what do you guys think of as a nuke as Revolution in one of the Battlefield maps? I think it will be very fun fighting for who detonates that trigger. But how are you gonna fight unless you have a super cool weapon? So next on our list are the top weapons that I feel have been most requested by you guys. Now they're all retro and they have appeared in a past Battlefield game. A lot may argue that these weapons were OP in that game too. So the guns that everyone seems to want back in Battlefield 4 is the M16A3, of course, the AN94, the G3A3, and the X-Bow. So I'm not really too sure about the M16A3. I saw they brought it back in Hardline, but the reason that DICE doesn't really bring too many weapons back is because they want to show off new guns and also guns that are very claimed to be OP. They don't like bringing them back because people will claim that they're OP anyway, even if it shoots paintballs. So yeah, but I can see the AN94 coming back and also the G3A3. Now the G3A3 I found was a very special weapon because it had a very high damage model, but it was very slow, but it was still automatic. I really loved it in Battlefield 3 and I hope it does return. Now what about that old gadget, the X-Bow? Now this was a crossbow, very cool gadget. It even took someone down in one shot, but from what I know as of right now, the reason this hasn't came back yet is because there has been no theme to go with it. As we saw in Battlefield 3, where this gadget made its appearance in the Aftermath DLC, there was destruction. It was improvised and it was cool. So I hope we do see it back in Final Stand. Hopefully we see an all-out destruction of those maps where we get to do it ourselves. But a major destruction to the Battlefield franchise has been its netcode and some of its features. So the next requested thing is CTE improvements in stock game. Now for a long time, when DICE Sweden was doing the game, they will send out patches that will break other stuff. They weren't really tested, and now DICE LA has kind of came in and adopted the game. So I really don't see why everyone really has a problem with some of the Battlefield 4 updates being a little slow, because when they were too fast, everyone kind of complained that they were breaking other stuff, and now that they're slow and they work, everyone's still complaining. So patience is key here. CTE improvements will be in the game around the time Final Stand comes, and it may be dead center between Dragon's Teeth and Final Stand. DICE will still be continuing CTE beyond Final Stand, so we'll see the weapons and probably the maps first in CTE to be well tested for the rest of the people who play on different platforms and also people who play stock PC. So don't worry, I played both the community test environment and the stock Battlefield 4 game, and they're so close but yet so far apart. Most of the netcode changes have already made it into regular Battlefield 4, and that has been pretty much enough for me to be able to play a game of Battlefield 4 without being frustrated. So I hope you guys are still enjoying stock Battlefield 4. I know a lot of people kind of jelly that they're not into the community test environment, but it's not really a VIP room. You can still give feedback to DICE on their forums and many other places you can drop in at. What? Drop in? So I'm pretty sure you guys remember the dropship from in-game Battlefield 3. Well, if you don't, it was a dropship in the sky. Nothing too special about it, but you could parachute out of it, which I found was pretty cool. And it's probably one of those moments I most remember from Battlefield 3, along with the parachuting off of top of the Damavand Peak helipad. It also gave you some kind of tactical advantage because you can parachute onto objectives and hopefully take them back for your team. Also, every once in a while, you were able to drop an infantry fighting vehicle down onto the battlefield to wreak havoc on your enemies. Now that I think back to it, it was more of a fight for an IFV more than the actual dropship. But the dropship definitely a highlight of Battlefield 3, and I would love for it to come back. This may also be the ship that drops a devastating nuke onto the battlefield. Or they could just bring back the H6 that was in China Rising, or the classic B-29 for historical reasons. But however they decided to drop this nuke, I just hope we have some way out. So a lot of you guys have requested another air vehicle, because one may argue that there is not enough transport in the game, especially one that can defend itself to get to the objective that they're trying to pick up. So a lot of you guys want a V-22 Osprey. I think this is a great idea, and it easily replaces the transport helicopter. Now, of course, you won't be able to repair inside of the V-22. I feel like that's going to be a bit OP, but I feel like you should give the gunner a bit more power. Amount of damage that the attack helicopter gunner does is pretty much perfect for this new vehicle, and also the pilot will have no rockets, so you will not be able to take out armor without being up in the air in one spot for too long. And I feel like that's how you pretty much would balance this. So it puts more of a focus of getting in and getting out. Transports are supposed to be for you to get into the battle as fast as possible, or for you to get out of the battle as fast as possible. So let me know how you guys feel about a new helicopter making it into the game. But you know what I have seen a lot of in this game is Easter eggs. Now there has been a wide majority, ranging from a giant megalodon that hops out of the water to little Plants vs. Zombies statues on Dawnbreaker, and personally I feel like they add a little bit of personality into the game. Some may argue that they're just being used as a distraction to kind of sheep us away from Battlefield 4's core issue, and I would kind of agree with you, but I still think it's a brilliant marketing tactic, and I would love to see more of it. Now, of course, I want to see a conclusion to who the Phantom is or who the Phantom was. There's a lot of things that are still unsolved, and we really need to come together as a community to solve them. So I hope you guys have been catching up on the Easter egg hunt. I totally understand if it's not your cup of tea, but I wouldn't know anyway because I don't drink tea. Well, that has been the top 5 features that we want to see in Final Stand. If I miss one of the top features that you want to see, make sure you do leave a comment in the comment section below and subscribe to stay up to date with Battlefield 4. Anyway guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Stay creative.